Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today I'm going to be discussing 2020 draft prospect Quinton Byfield and which NHL team needs him the most. Now, Quinton Byfield is not just one of the best prospects in this draft, but is likely the best center prospect in this draft, right behind Alexis Lafreniere for the best forwards. And that lends himself to a lot of interest for a lot of different NHL teams, being 6'4" and dominating the OHL at 16 and 17 years old. But which NHL teams need him the most right now, and who do I see winning the Quinton Byfield sweepstakes? Watch till the end for all my picks, and of course, subscribe if you're new. Now, despite a lackluster World Juniors, Quinton Byfield to me is still the second best prospect in this draft. He has been dominant and has held the OHL scoring race until this month at age 17. He's a guy that as a 6'4" center has a lot of value and should have a lot of value. There are a bunch of other prospects like Louis Raymond, Tim Stützle, Marco Rossi, Anton Lundell, Alexander Holtz, but to me Quinton Byfield has all the tools to be a number one center in the NHL and to produce like one too. And with all the assets he already has and his domination so far age 17, there will be a lot of teams clamoring to get him on draft day. But in today's video, I'll be separating the teams that just want Quinton Byfield to the teams that need Quinton Byfield at this draft. We're going to have 3 different tiers, just like the other videos, where we'll have Tier 1, the need Quinton Byfield tier, Tier 2 being badly want, and Tier 3 being really want. I'll have 12 different teams here, separated throughout the 3 tiers. We're going to work our way from Tier 3, the really want, to Tier 1, and the teams that need Quinton Byfield. But starting us out here today in the Tier 3, the really want Byfield tier, I'm going to first go with the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the Blackhawks would be an interesting team if they were to somehow get second overall. I would think that they would pick Byfield, but at the same time, it's pretty much just a dice roll for them. The only reason they're not higher is because their center core right now, when it comes to future players, is looking pretty good right now. You got Graviteh, who could be a first-line guy for them, but you also got center prospects and guys like Philip Kurashev and Evan Barrett, 2 of which I'm a pretty big fan of. To me, Chicago is pretty set down the middle. Yes, Quinton Byfield would be amazing for them, but I don't think they need him whatsoever. But getting into my next team in Tier 3, the really want Byfield tier, and this team is kind of in the same boat as Chicago, that being the Buffalo Sabres. Now, for the Sabres, they already have Jack Eichel, obviously, as the first line guy. That won't change at all. But you also have Dylan Cousins, who they drafted top 10 in last year's draft, who can be a winger, but I still think will be a second line center for them. I don't think Quinton Byfield is going to be the number 3 center. I think he would be better than Dylan Cousins. But at the same time, for a team like Buffalo, I think it would be a lot better for them to search for wing prospects, and especially at defense. But going on to my third team in Tier 3, the really want Byfield tier, I'm going to go with the San Jose Sharks. Now, as I said before, for Sharks fans, it is really depressing because they do not have their first round pick. Thanks to these guys, that's a little bit awkward. But anyways, for a team like San Jose, I don't think they really need him all that much. Yes, I think they would take Quinton Byfield if they could, but it's pretty much impossible for that to happen anyways. In the center core, you already have Logan Couture, Tomas Hertl, and all the other guys there. Yes, they would take Quinton Byfield, but at the same time, again, a wing prospect, and especially defenseman, would be a lot more useful for them. But now going to a team that actually has a chance at Quinton Byfield and actually has their first round pick. For my last team in Tier 3, the really want Byfield tier, I have the New Jersey Devils. Now, I'm just imagining a core of Quinton Byfield, Jack Hughes, and Nico Hischier. It's just disgusting and just insane. Yes, I think New Jersey would definitely take that, but I think a wing prospect, obviously Alexis Lafreniere would not be bad whatsoever, or Jamie Drysdale, or a goaltender, whatever it might be. I don't think New Jersey needs to have 3 first-line centers. I don't know if that'll be the best thing for them. For a team like New Jersey, yes, they pretty much need everything, but a center is really not one of their problems. I guess you could also say that for New Jersey, they got 99 problems, and a center ain't one. Ba-doom. Okay, the door's over there. I'll be leaving now. You're welcome. Alright, moving on from whatever that just was, we're now going to get into Tier 2, the badly want teams for Quinton Byfield, and starting us out, I have the Nashville Predators. Now, for the Preds, right now they don't need a center. They've done the most things possible to make sure they don't need them, but in the future, I could see them having a pretty big weakness once again. Once guys like Johansson and Duchesne and Turris go or are retired or older, that's a situation where I think a guy like Quinton Byfield, who would be maybe their best prospect ever, could be a huge add for them. At the same time, though, for Nashville, it makes a lot of sense why they wouldn't go for that. I just think in general, offense is what they need for the future, and right now they're looking to get a pretty solid lottery pick. It likely won't be top 3, but at the same time, for a team like Nashville, they should be looking to restock that center market, especially with Philip Tomasino already coming up. And now on to my second team in Tier 2, the badly want Quinton Byfield tier. I have the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, I think they would totally want Alexis Lafreniere 110% more. But at the same time, if they do somehow find themselves the second overall pick, I don't think they'll be skipping Quinton Byfield. Again, I think they'd want Alexis Lafreniere, the Quebec kid, if they somehow got the first overall pick, and I don't think either are really realistic. But for a team like Montreal, who, yes, has a lot of center prospects, they already have Paling and Suzuki coming up, I know that, but they don't really have that number 1, almost generational type center that I think Quinton Byfield can be. I think he'd be one of their best prospects ever, and could be their first line center in no time. But now on to my third team in Tier 2, the badly want Byfield tier. I'm going to go the New York Rangers. Now hear me out, yes, Mika Zibanejad and Ryan Strome is a very solid top 2 center group. But just imagine Quinton Byfield, Mika Zibanejad, and Ryan Strome. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. If New York is somehow lucky enough to get back-to-back second overall picks, just imagine Quinton Byfield in the future for Artemi Panarin, Capo Kakko, Pavel Buchnevich, and all these guys just makes me way too excited, bro. Give me Byfield with Artemi Panarin. I would freaking pay to see that. I would pay my bread. That's how much I'd pay for it. But now on to the next team in the badly want tier. I'm going to go with the Anaheim Ducks. Now the Ducks are in the same situation as a team like Buffalo, where I think their center group going forward is, without Byfield, really, really good. You have Sam Steele, Trevor Zegras, 2 of whom I think could be second and first line caliber centers in the NHL. But I was thinking maybe you have Quinton Byfield as the first guy, maybe you move Sam Steele to the wing and have Trevor Zegras as your second line C. Just imagining those 2 together in the future. I'm not even a Ducks fan, I'm not even close to one, but that would be awesome to see. Quinton Byfield, though, I think has a great fit there. You already have a great amount of wingers on that team with Andre Kasha, Ricard Raquel, who I think would do very well with a guy like that. To me, though, Anaheim is a team that could already have a fit for him right now at age 17. He's a guy that I think will be a great fit for them now and in the future, and will be a huge and will be the big piece of their current rebuild. But now on to my 5th team in Tier 2, the badly want Byfield tier. I'm going to go the LA Kings. Now the Kings are in a unique position here because on paper, they really don't need another center prospect. They already got Turcotte, Kupari, Akil Thomas, Gabriel Velarde. There are a lot of good options there. But if they were to get that second overall pick, I still think they would take Byfield. But that means that forward group could become even better. I mean, looking at guys like Akil Thomas, even Gabriel Velarde, I'm not sure if they're going to be top tier centers going in the future. But if they were wingers, I think they could use that skill and speed a lot better. You already have a guy like Quinton Byfield and Alex Turcotte who could be the top 2 centers, and then you have Rasmus freaking Kupari on top of that. Just thinking about that LA core, no matter who they end up getting, it'll be scary for the future, but I think for a team like LA, they aren't in the need category. I think a guy like JV Drysdale will be a better fit and will be the best case scenario for that. But now on to my 6th and final team in the badly want tier, Tier 2. This is probably the lowest that this team will ever be in these videos, that being the Detroit Red Wings. I think in all the other ones, I think the Askarov one and the Lafreniere one, they were obviously in the need tier. But in this one, they're Tier 2, and I'll explain why. Obviously, with that team, you already have Dylan Larkin as the number 1 guy, but not even that. They have some great, solid center prospects right now, most notably highlighted by Joe Veleno. I think he could be a very solid 2 center in the NHL, and for Detroit, if they give him some time and patience, I think will become that. For a team like Detroit, they basically need everything else besides that top tier center, because I think they already have that in a guy like Dylan Larkin. A wing like Alexis Lafreniere, a defenseman like Jimmy Drysdale, a goaltender like Yaroslav Askarov. Those are much higher priorities for Detroit, as they should be. But now we are finally in the top tier, tier 1, the need Quinton Byfield tier, and I only have 2 teams in this top tier, mostly because there's a lot of teams that just kind of fit the criteria for badly want but don't need, but we have 2 final teams here today, and starting us out in tier 1, I have the Minnesota Wild. Now the Minnesota Wild are a pretty solid team at this point, but when you look at their future, they don't really have anybody at center besides maybe Jordan Greenway, who can also play wing, and Ryan Donato if they end up keeping him. To me, Minnesota, more than a lot of teams in the league right now, needs that superstar. And I think Kirill Kaprizov will eventually be that, but that'll be on the wing. In their center core, they really don't have anything for the future. Wants guys like Eric Stahl, Mikko Koivu end up retiring, and I think that'll be a big position of weakness. But if Quinton Byfield were to be drafted next year, I think he could slowly transition into that elite role, learn from guys like Mikko Koivu and Eric Stahl, which is not bad whatsoever, and eventually become that number 1 guy in Minnesota. And just imagining him with friggin' Kirill Kaprizov, that might be the best fit of all time. I'm just saying. But now getting into the team that I think needs Quinton Byfield the most. Sitting at number 1 in tier 1, the need Quinton Byfield tier. Honestly, this was a back and forth debate I had with them in Minnesota, and it's not that big of a gap either. It could be Minnesota on any given day, but to me the team that needs him the most is these guys, the Ottawa Senators. Now when you look at their center core prospect wise, it is pretty good. You have Logan Brown, you got Joshua Norris, Shane Pinto, and I think those guys will be solid for the Ottawa Senators. But I don't think they'll be great second liners or even first line caliber guys to really match up with the elite talents of guys like Brady Tkachuk. To me, just thinking of Tkachuk with Quinton Byfield makes me way too excited. And I think for a team like Buffalo, obviously there's so much they can need right now in the wing, in the center, in the defense, in the goaltending. It really is something that they need everywhere. But to me, that number 1 center that can lead them, yes, Alexis Lafreniere will be fantastic, but to me, Quinton Byfield is a guy that would be perfect for Ottawa. And right now, with the 2 first-round picks they have one of the best chances of getting Quinton Byfield than any other team in this list. So to me, if there's any team that needs Quinton Byfield the most and has the best chance of getting Quinton Byfield, again, it would be these guys, the Ottawa Senators. With those 2 first-round picks, and I think the interest they have in a guy like that, playing in the OHL as we speak, that's a guy that I think Ottawa would love to have. And yes, Alexis Lafreniere would be amazing for them, and they have a great chance of getting him too for 2 first-rounders. But to me, Quinton Byfield is a more realistic option, and a guy that can help them even more. Brady Tkachuk is already on that left side, and Alexis Lafreniere is a left winger, but they don't really have that clear-cut center that I think Quinton Byfield would be for them. But of course, with today's video, I need to hear y'all's thoughts down in those comments down below. Let me know what you think about my picks through the 3 tiers, the really want, the badly want, and the need. What do you agree with and disagree with? And of course, the question on to you, which team do you think needs Quinton Byfield the most at this NHL draft? But if y'all want some more Grav videos just like this one, y'all should click on this card right here to watch my video on Alexis Lafreniere and which NHL team needs him the most. But thanks so much for watching all y'all. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on my picks, what you agree and disagree with, and of course, share this video with your friends. Get the word out there, because Quinton Byfield is pretty good at hockey. My name is Nathan, and I'll see y'all next video or stream. Goodbye.